Welcome. I'm Halcyon and this is Hug Nation. Today I want to talk about the power of editing. If you've ever watched a reality TV show, you might notice that in the credits they list writers and editors. Because reality is not a passive unrolling of truth. Reality, as we experience it, is a choice of what we pay attention to and what we place our focus on. And if you look at a reality TV show, it can be a beautiful metaphor or a harsh teacher for the way that we live our lives. Because if you watch a half hour show of, I don't even know what the current reality shows are. Is The Real World still a thing? Housewives of Kansas or something? I don't know. But, you know, they film and film and film and film and film and film, and then they take clips of the things that are dramatic. They don't show you the things that do not, the excess harmony. They don't show you the things that are boring. They don't show you the things that aren't riveting. They only show you the exciting things, and then they add music, and then they cut out the things that might make things make confusing to try to make it more sense, even if that's not exactly what happened. I actually experienced this firsthand a number of years ago. Had MTV follow me and my roommates around for a week to do a documentary about when we were living in the real house, the webcam house. And I tried to befriend the producer because I wanted him to portray us in a positive light. And he said, "Oh, we had a script before we even met you. We're just here to get the shots that we need to tell the story that we've already written." Oh my God. And if you think about your life like that, you can have a much more control over if you're leading a happy story, a sad story, a tragic story, if you're a victim or if you're a hero, because of what you focus on. If you obsess about the stupid thing you said, then it's a tragic comedy. If you just cut that out of the narrative that you're telling yourself and instead focus on the sunset or focus on that laughing baby, then it's a much different story. And the reason why this is on my mind right now, well, partially because it's a part of my daily practice. This is really the extent of crap or cone. This is the extent of, we have a tendency to believe that we need to focus on reality, not realizing that reality involves so much that we have to choose what we focus on. So you can decide that you want to let a news station choose for you what to focus on, and then they decide what reality is. Or you can decide to have some fringe blogger or talk radio host. And I know people that I've had to take out of my life, remove, because they have decided that the reality that they choose to focus on, they let it be dictated by some fringe media outlets. So their world is all about, reality to them is vapor trails or chemtrails and Pizzagate and pedophile Hollywood rings and things like that. And that is they cannot focus on anything but that. And so when they reach out to me, all they want to do is plead for me to get involved in the revealing of this truth, the reality. And I'm not even saying that everything that they are concerned about is absolutely 100% fiction. The majority, I will say, is fiction. I will say Pizzagate is fiction. I'm in my worldview, if you come at me and say and use Pizzagate as one of your examples of fake news or something, then I don't know where we go from there. I don't know how to find common ground. So that being said, that's an extreme example, but choosing Fox News, choosing any news outlet, choosing even your Facebook feed, because you are choosing how to define reality. And if you don't stay vigilant about this awareness, then you lose track of the fact that this reality is a choice. And this is where you're choosing to focus, and you instead feel a victim to this world. And this graphic that has been going around this week online, I want to share it, and hopefully you'll be able to see it, but if not, I'll be able to explain it. It is, and hopefully you'll still be able to hear me as I'm talking about this. It's the causes of death in the U.S., and it's what Americans die from, what the actual causes of death are, what people searched for on Google, and then what the media reported on. And this is a few years ago, and this is also the only media they have here is one column is the New York Times and one is the Guardian. It'd be really interesting to see this on many, many, many examples of different media. But the fascinating thing here is, and hopefully, I think the wording is pretty small, but you can see how the color blocks. So the blue color block is heart disease. And so 30% of deaths in the U.S., heart disease. And then if you look at how many people were searching for that in Google, 2%. And if you look at how often that was portrayed in the news, 2.5 and 2.1%. So barely a blip in the reality that we are being shown, and yet the biggest cause of death. Now, cancer is big in almost every category. That's the yellow one. But if you look over on the right, the red blocks, that's terrorism. You can't even see the red column in the actual deaths. But in the news, it's 35.6%. And 33.3%. So the largest representation of death, the reality that most people are being exposed to is that the majority of death is occurring because of terrorism. That's what we're witnessing. And yet in the reality of statistics and actual people losing their lives, it is a 0.01%. It is statistically irrelevant. And then homicide is the gray bar, which is 22% and 23%, the second largest one according to the media, that what they represent. And it's only 0.9% of the actual deaths are due to homicide. Now, this is significant in a lot of reasons. I mean, in one, it makes you even, now to play devil's advocate of things that I've gotten on the side of, handguns and gun violence is an epidemic. According to the actual death statistics, that's hardly an epidemic. Heart disease is a much bigger epidemic than homicides. But the news portrays our reality, and so we tend to think that that is the epidemic. Terrorism is the epidemic. The violent things, the fear-causing things are what the media has created as our reality. And if we lose sight of the fact that our input creates our world, creates our reality, then we become victim to whoever we are giving our attention to. On the contrary, if we can discipline ourselves to choose what we place focus on, then we can craft paradise. We can live in a world filled with amazing people, filled with giving and gifts and trust and love and laughing babies, because that is the world we live in. It has all sorts of other stuff too, but be very careful about letting any outside voice dictate to you how significant or how important things, fear-causing things, should be to you. Now, am I saying pretend like everything is always perfect and never work to make the world better? Of course not. I'm saying don't surrender to the idea that the world is filled with violence and evil people, and therefore that is our baseline. That is not baseline. Baseline is a magical, miracle-filled world. And we can edit even the challenging things in our lives. We can edit those things by putting some inspiring music to make the tough things worthwhile. And we can make someone who is scary into mysterious. We can make something that is boring into contemplative. This is the responsibility we have over our own lives. And if we surrender that responsibility, if we give it up to news outlets, to pundits, we are forfeiting the most important gift that we have, which is autonomy and choice over the life we live. You are the editor of your life. Be careful who your producer is. Be careful who you let into the editing room. Be careful who you let dictate which footage you have in creating your masterpiece. Thank you for being a part of this masterpiece. I love you. If you enjoy these transmissions, do me a huge favor and share them. Give them a thumbs up, give them a like. Let people know that this is worth listening to. It would make a big difference in my life. Or join my email list and get to know all the new things that happen, including when my next round of coaching will start at list.hugnation.com. Actually, just search Hug Nation. You can find my YouTube channel, find my iTunes, all the good stuff. I love you.